There is a concrete story, but I think not concrete in the way that you see in a lot of games where there is, you know, an intro cutscene which gives you the backstory and motivation and such, and then throughout there's dialogue reiterating that story and cutscenes reiterating the story again, and then a big cutscene at the end reiterating the conclusion. Really, as a player, I don't appreciate feeling like a spectator. And I think when you have so much of that direction in a game, you do start to feel a bit disconnected, and connection is a huge part of what we've wanted to achieve. You know, we want the player to connect with this idea of being a child in this monstrous world, and we want the player to feel connected with the character so they feel invested in keeping her alive, and even the controls themselves, you know, it's designed to feel like this is all a kid can do. You know, so all of these things really are part of that kind of story of you're a child, and then at the same time the world itself is infused with this story, you know, of course, that we know and that we're hoping that you will come to understand as you play through the game and learn that this is a place rich in detail, many layers to discover, you know, little secret areas to find and all stuff. So nothing's really been put in that just feels generic. It's all got thinking behind it, and it all contributes to this tapestry, if you like, of if you can step back, and once you've played it through, hopefully you'll play it through again and maybe make your own interpretation of what you think the story is. But yeah, there is a story there, but we'd much rather put the responsibility on the player to get it. You know, trust them that they will understand what's going on. It's very easy to get out of that habit, I think, you know, because you can get so used to people just telling you what you need to know, and I think it's quite invigorating when you're like, oh, hang on, they're leaving this to me, and you know, I have the power to kind of explore and decide for myself what's going on. So, yeah, we're very lucky that like everyone at Tarsier really is super talented. I just think, you know, they're some of the best I've worked with. And yeah, this kind of dreamy atmosphere that you talk about, you know, is the product of everyone kind of heading for the same goal, you know. I think even the kind of gentle sea motion that you see, you know, just like the way that the place rocks with the motion of the motion of the ocean. What a fantastic phrase! Gives it this kind of dreamy feel to it. There's just something that kind of knocks you off balance a little bit. The sound design does it as well, and I think that is something that we really wanted to achieve, is that you don't feel like this is pure fantasy somewhere you can't connect with, but it's not quite home either. It's somewhere in between, and again, it kind of reflects that feeling of being a kid where nothing really feels that real. It just comes from this instinct that, you know, in this case comes from the art department, you know, where they take something that can feel mundane and very normal, and just gives it that twist, just stretches it out of partial recognition. So, and it also kind of fits with some of the characters that you meet, like the janitor. Kind of makes sense that things are very tall for that character. So there's a coherency there with the world, that, you know, that the characters fit with the location that you find them in. But yeah, it does have this kind of effect where like it's just off-putting, you know, like, again, like almost like a hall of mirrors where things are just distorted. So yeah, so that they feel interesting. No, funnily enough, no. I mean, what it comes from really is these kind of more like the primal fears. You know, if you can tap into that, like this feeling of being alone in the world and feeling like, you know, everyone else is against you or something. It's something that every nightmare springs from. So you know what I mean? If you say, oh right, I've had a nightmare where I'm naked in front of a whole bunch of people. That's not the primal fear, though, is it? That's a nightmare that springs from it. So what we did instead was went as far back as possible, and then kind of jump from there. And you know, hopefully these kind of things kind of reflect these ideas, and people can latch onto the the core fear, rather than going, well, I'm not scared of nuns or you know, bread. I don't know what people have nightmares about, but you know, I think that is very, very specific, and we didn't want to just exclude people. We wanted as many people as possible to be terrified.